it still baffles me that people do not evolve with time. They don't evolve with time. You see, especially when it comes to these harmful traditional practices, people still indulge in them, regardless of the awareness that we as health professionals are creating, regardless of the harm that it may have caused people, especially when it comes to babies. I still see babies having febrile convulsion, getting poked, I see people put spoon in their mouth, or even apply some form of concoctions in their eyes or their mouth and all that. Yeah, a lot of children have gone through this phase and they never came out the same. Even some of them lost their lives in the process, because in your head you think you are trying to save them, whereas you are causing them more harm than good. When it comes to when we say febrile convulsion, is a kind of convulsion that is triggered by a fever. So usually this type of convulsion has a time frame that it stays. It stays happens between 3 to 5 minutes. So if you just let it take its course, it will stop when it is done. What you should do when you see your baby having any form of febrile convulsion is firstly to stay calm. Do not panic, because when you panic, you may just get so confused you will not even know what to do at that particular time. Don't panic at all. What you should do is usually leave the baby on a flat surface. Or if you can't, if it happened in a place that is crowded, you can just keep your baby close to you, but then position the baby sideways, like I'm doing with this doll, sideways, ensuring that their mouth is kind of open, not to allow secretions to occlude their airway, and also not to allow their tongues to fall backwards and then occlude their airways. So you just position the baby sideways like this, so that those secretions can go off their mouth and not get into their airways to cause any form of obstruction. Don't put spoons into their mouth. Don't even put your fingers in. No form of concoction or liquid into their mouth at that time. And then take out tight clothing around their necks, just to give their lungs a room to expand, and also not to cause any form of maybe tightness around them, because they need to breathe. Take tight clothing off their body, their neck area, their chest area, to give them room to be a bit more comfortable while they are going through that phase. And most importantly, do not tepid sponge. When you hear tepid sponging, it's wiping your baby's body with a cloth, a water that has room temperature. But at that time, don't tepid sponge, because when you tepid sponge, you can have peripheral cooling, like the outward body will be cool, but there is going to be constriction of blood vessels internally, and when that happens, when the blood vessels constrict, it is going to conserve heat internally, and then that internal heat may even cause more febrile episodes. So take note of this. Don't put anything in your baby's mouth. Relax, be calm, and then as soon as it takes its course for about 3 to 5 minutes, the fitting episode or convulsion episode will stop on its own. It will stop. But if you notice that your baby, just take note of the timing, like I mentioned, take note of the timing. If it stays longer than it should, over 5 minutes, quickly take your baby to the hospital. And then when your baby eventually comes back to consciousness and you notice there's a kind of difficulty in breathing, or your baby is turning blue, please run to the hospital, because that could be a sign of oxygen deprivation that needs urgent medical attention. Keep well, you guys, and try to share these videos to create more awareness. People need to know. They need to know this thing and not getting involved in those harmful traditional practices. Enjoy your day, and bye for now.